Oh, yeah. There he is. Welcome. Welcome, baby. Huh? George Mason. Comedian George Mason. My show. Huh? Play music all night. Fuck it. Alexa. Oh, that's Alexa. Alexa, how you doing tonight?
I'm feeling positively luminous. If you want to know why, just say, Alexa, open my owl post.
Alexa, what the hell did you just say?
Sorry, there is nothing to repeat.
Okay. Beautiful. But it's so good. George, I thought that was funny. I thought that was good. But what is funny, huh? Funny is funny, right? But what is funny? Funny is, it's a person's perception of what they feel and makes them laugh. Alexa, what is a comedian?
According to Wikipedia, a comedian or comic is a person who seeks to entertain an audience by making them laugh. This may be done by telling jokes, creating amusing situations, acting foolishly, or employing prop comedy.
Alexa, what is a prop comic?
Prop comic is a noun meaning a comedian whose performances utilize common and or unusual objects as physical aids to help achieve a humorous effect.
Alexa, how many different forms of comedy are there?
Here are a few comedy playing near New York City today. Eternity, Zootopia 2, Rental Family, and Bugonia. If you'd like to hear the last 4 items, ask me to tell you more.
Alexa, how many different styles of comedy are there?
I know about 2 styles P comedies.
It's interesting because there are a lot of styles. There are a lot of ways to do comedy, and some people are only exposed to what we get in the media, what we get on, the podcasts, the different streaming services, and everything, But I was blessed and fortunate to come up when you had great stand-up comedians, you had great comedy, and even the shows, the situation comedies were well written. And today's different. Today's, just so much to go by. People make their own comedy, and some of it is good, some of it is not bad. It's something to do, pretty much a lot of times, and husband and wife, the whole family will join in. You got the animals, the dog, cats, and whatever that they mix up, and yeah, so it's a lot of entertainment. There's a lot of different varieties of outlets, basically, and it's good. Some of it is, as I said, it's healthy, and you can't hate on anybody. You can't say, "Oh, he shouldn't do this," or "that shit was corny." A lot of people are getting paid, that are corny. If you want to, whatever, it's because it's your perception of how you perceive what's funny, what is comedy. It's all subjective, pretty much. Alexa, what does subjective mean?
The adjective subjective is usually defined as existing in the mind, belonging to the thinking subject rather than to the object of thought, opposed to objective. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for subjective.
Alexa, give me more definitions for subjective.
I have 9 more definitions for the adjective subjective. 1. Pertaining to or characteristic of an individual, personal, individual. 2. Placing excessive emphasis on one's own moods, attitudes, opinions, etc., unduly egocentric. 3. Relating to or of the nature of an object as it is known in the mind as distinct from a thing in itself. 4. Relating to properties or specific conditions of the mind as distinguished from general or universal experience. 5. Pertaining to the subject or substance in which attributes inhere, essential. 6. Pertaining to or constituting the subject of a sentence. 7. In English and certain other languages, noting a case specialized for that use, as he and he hit the ball. 8. Similar to such a case in meaning. 9. Characteristic of a political subject, submissive.
Interesting. Thank you, Alexa.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, thank you.
You are so very welcome. Hope you had a good Wednesday.
It was good. It was very good. It's just cold here in New York. I'm in New York City and it's just freezing. It's brick out. But, she put a lot on it as far as subjective. So, and that's what comedy is. I was going to do a whole thing about interview myself and whatever. But then I just wanted to do this thing about comedy, what comedy is to different people, and Alexa put it all, you know, uh, summed it up pretty much. I mean, it's still confusing. And she said subjective. There's 9 different reasons for what subjective is. So it's whatever makes you laugh, whatever makes you feel good, whatever floats your boat, pretty much. And that's where it's at. So I can't hate. I can't say, oh, this comedian he does this, and it's wrong. This is, no. I don't want to get into the technical um, stylings or mechanics of comedy because that just gets crazy. Because everybody does what they do, and that's how it goes. But I'm not going to do it today. I want to talk about like good comedians, great comedians, and where a lot of these comics get their uh, inspiration from, or we all draw like the good comics draw from Pryor. Richard Pryor is our model, as far as like funny, because he's a funny dude. He's a very funny man. Bill Cosby, Flip Wilson, uh, Godfrey Cambridge, Dick Gregory. The list goes on and on. Scully Mitchell. A lot of people don't even know who Scully is. And his old cats, George Kirby, um, Moms Mabley, um, Pokey, what's her name? Pokey, Jewish female comedian. Poochie, she's like a female Don Rickles. She's a very funny lady. But yeah, so I'm just going to touch on that. And being a black comedian coming up, and then you had different rooms. You had black rooms, you had white rooms, you had different rooms and stuff. And, you know, uh, I come up with some real funny individuals or talented cats. And his brother's here. And Bill Bellamy, I've worked with Bill, know Bill back in the day. That's Godfrey right there, Arthur Godfrey with his book. And a great book. I recommend reading. He talked about, he worked on the Cosby Show, the second Cosby Show. And when he met Bill Cosby, Mr. Cosby worked with him. And he ended up getting writing a situation comedy out of it, which paid him almost $30,000, if not more. And so there's great money in show business, and every aspect of it, they pay well. It pays well, and yeah, Godfrey. And like I said, I'm not going to go deep into like what makes a comedian, what makes a comedian funny, and it's just so many different things involved with that. And yeah, you know, being black and and working white rooms, because they tell you don't go downtown. When you're uptown, stay uptown. You know, I got Tim Yoki. What's up, Tim? Welcome. Yeah, Tim, I'm just riffing about comedy, and I was going to interview myself in regards to my history and stuff along those lines. But I'll be honest with you, I'm tired tonight. I'm exhausted. And the holidays and everything was shopping, going around, and it's so cold here in New York, and you run around and you come back, and it's just like it hits you all of a sudden. I ate. I said, man, I gotta go on tonight. Then I said, do I have to go on tonight? I went on last night to advertise tonight's show, but as I said, I started riffing about being a black comic and have the politics of first working, what that's like. It's just it takes a while to develop any type of foundation of who you are as a comedian, because you don't know. And we used to have back in the day what was called workout rooms. Huh? Give it up for workout rooms. Workout rooms was rooms you can go to and work your material out. It's self-explanatory, pretty much. They don't have that now, but they have these rooms, these where they have you can bring. If I'm a comedian starting out, if I bring a few acts, family members or friends, or invite people to the show, pretty much, but they got to pay to get in. They got to do that 2 drink minimum, 2 item mandatory once you sit down. So it's interesting, and, as far as like how things have changed. They could have charged back in the day. Comics, at least we would get a soda or something complimentary, or they charge it for water now, for the comedians. If you got $15, you can go up on stage and do 15 minutes of material. It's just that easy now. So there's no, they had rooms that would pass you, like Catch a Rising Star, the comic strip, the improvisational. These were called the top three, the big three. Hey, Craig. Welcome, Craig, to the room. God bless you, Craig. Craig says, Craig knows something about what I'm talking about. He says, timing and content makes a comic funny. It's true. It is real. And but some of these comedians, some of these guys that get up on stage, they feel a lot of times that all you have to do is roast somebody, and the roasting thing just to talk about somebody else, their attributes or what they don't have, how they look. And, I was in one room out in Long Island years ago. I think it was Baldwin, Long Island, this comic. It's a black room. This guy got up there, man, and he just humiliated this girl that was at a table with 4 other girls. And I made her cry. And then he said to the owners, bring her a bottle of champagne. So I guess that made up, for the fact that he made her cry, he made her feel like dirt or whatever. It just really stepped all over her, whatever. And it was rough, man. But some of these guys, they don't have any material, they don't have any timing and content. They just get up there and just talk about whatever. And but you do have some guys out there that are good, that are working their craft, that are learning their craft. And before you even got up on stage, a lot of times you would have to kind of think through what you wanted to do and how you wanted to present yourself. And they said back in the day it would take a comedian 4 years to develop to get what is called a type five. That's a type 5 minutes. That's a 5 minute set. It might not sound like anything, like 5 minutes. Oh man, that's it's a piece of cake, guys. Because there's so much at stake. The money is just crazy. That they throw at you. But at 5 minutes, man, it can seem like an eternity if you're not getting any uh, response. If you're up there struggling, trying to get through a set. And I've had some. We've all, working and doing shows and stuff. We all had bad sets, terrible sets, and it's how you handle it. It's how you get through it. Tim says if you have to trash somebody else, then someone's going to be offended. But when we make fun of ourselves, then we can all laugh. Yeah, that's true. And that's how you say, like with Joan Rivers, she'd always come out and talk about herself, her chest, her this, her that. Then when she started with the surgery, she always, made fun of herself. Rodney Dangerfield, the same thing. you know, but the way Rodney did, I'll tell you, it's not easy being me. He said, make love to your, he said, thou make love to your neighbors. Uh, what was that joke? Uh, I made love to an inflatable girl. Now I got an inflatable guy looking for me, stuff like that. And women are funny. Take my wife, please. Any young man. And you know your stuff, Craig. But yeah. But here it is. So love thy, Rodney said, love thy neighbor like you love yourself. What am I supposed to do? Jerk him off too? But yeah, it's just so I love comedy. That's the thing about it. And you got a lot of people, you go to shows and then you'll see who, really knows their stuff. Like Craig knows stuff, Tim knows his stuff, obviously. I met Tim through Kevin Jordan, great comedian. And Kevin is a very, very funny guy. Headlines all over. He does cruises and he works. He used to do the USO tours. Uh, for the I don't know if he's still doing those stuff. And thank you for your service, Kev. But and Kev wrote a great book too called "When the Street Lights Come On." Pick that up if you can. And he can work clean. He can do it all. And and he's a good individual as well, and that helps. Goes a long way. But yeah, contact Craig said content and timing. Timing is everything. And a lot of these young men, young people out here develop followings. They get great followings, and that's a good thing. But it's also imperative to give them something. You know what I'm saying? Give your followers something that they can hang on to. Like I seen that big guy, big Mexican comedian Fluffy, they call him. He's got I don't know how many followers, and he's filthy rich. He might be worth $75 million. I don't know. Alexa, what is Fluffy worth? The comedian.
From thelist.com. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Gabriel Iglesias has a net worth of around $40 million
$40 million,
and a salary of $20 million per year on top of that too. One of the most high-earning comics in the world, it's certainly been a journey for the wealthy entertainer.
Wow. $40 million. Alexa, what is Fluffy's name?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, what is Fluffy the comedian's name? Real name?
Gabriel Iglesias' birth name is Gabriel J. Iglesias, and he was born on July 15, 1976.
Gabriel Iglesias. His stage name is Fluffy. And he's funny, but it's a desired taste, but he's got his following. He doesn't need me or you. He has his own following. wherever he's at, his bookings and stuff, they know where he's gonna be, and he sells out. And that's how a lot of these cats, man, that are doing it now. They develop their followings, and God bless them. They take it on the road, outside the established, like a Cat Williams or Steve Harvey's and Cedric Entertainers, and Rhonda, what's her name? She's a lesbian now, but she does her thing, and she's wealthy as well. Rhonda Sykes, and but again, desired taste is a different taste, and as I said, I'm no judge and jury. Ralphie May was the original Fluffy. Ralphie May is a funny guy. He's big comedian, and you talk about that Chinese buffet and stuff like that. But yeah, you had Andrew Dice back in the day. They had their own following and stuff, and it's another one that developed a character and worked in the context of that character. People started believing that he really was, this Brooklyn tough cat. He was Jewish. A lot of people thought he was Italian. Dice. And Alexa, what was Andrew Dice Clay's real name?
Andrew Dice Clay's birth name is Andrew Clay Silverstein, and he was born on September 29th, 1957.
Silverstein. Wow. Yeah, and he was character funny. He was very funny. Like that kind of humor. He just was raw. He'd come out. I had to follow him one night over in Brooklyn at Pips, and I'd say I had to. I had a spot. I had a Thursday night $20 spot. Do excuse me, 15, 20 minutes or whatever. It's like the workout room, working my way up to the weekends and stuff. You do stuff in the middle of the week, Tuesday if you can get it, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, Monday, and then your weekends. If you're good, if you're working, should be filled. Be on the road, going someplace, doing something. But I was at Pips Thursday night. Who comes in? I'm ready to go up just to do my little 15, 20 minutes and out. I'm living in Manhattan at the time, and do my little thing. I'm all the way near Coney Island out in Brooklyn. For you people, New Yorkers, it's a nice little hike to go from Brooklyn to Manhattan to Brooklyn. So Thursday, ready to do my spot and get out of there. And who walks in? Andrew Dice Clay. And Dice was selling out auditoriums, arenas, and coliseums and stuff like that. And he was funny, man. Like I said, he did his thing. He was a guy, man, that you could do an hour, 15 minutes, an hour and a half, not a problem. And funny stuff, messing with the crowd, and you had to be ready for this dude. But if you knew who he was, so you're going to a show, and hey, that's you got what you got. It's like some comedians, man, what used to like with the fruit, the Dice Man cometh. Yeah, what was that comedian that broke the fruit, the watermelons, and I forget his name. But yeah, so I'd say the game has changed now. Like I was going back, like the workout rooms, going into these rooms and developing your stuff, developing your craft, taking time to spread it out. You take a little bit here, this bit, it might be 3 or 4 minutes of a bit that you might get one or two laughs, maybe. So now you got a little something, a little foundation to build on. You're building. And then now something else might come up. You might take a piece of this bit of material and put it at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So you have to find a way to make this thing work. There's 5 minutes. You want to develop, 5 minutes before you branch out, before you try to start to work. Uh, you know, I asked this one comedian one time, just starting out in Pips, Alan Belmont. I'll never forget. I said, Alan, how do you uh, how do you know you're funny? Yeah, he goes, when they pay you. When they pay you, that's when you start working. So Gallagher, that was it. Yeah, that with the fruit. Thanks, Tim. Breaking the watermelon and stuff. You had to cover yourself up, to go to a Gallagher show. And he handed the act down to his brother or sold it to his brother, I heard. But that's another quiet taste, to sit there and to have the fruit, somebody coming out and breaking just what the fucking that. Some people thought that was funny. So, Craig said content and timing, but again, you got people, he's up there breaking fruit. You're sitting there covered in plastic, and but they're laughing. He's splitting a watermelon, and he's getting paid millions of dollars. But that some people think that's comedy. So again, it's subjective. Like Alexa broke it down, explained to me what subjective means. Carlin, Tim asked me that I like Carlin. I love Carlin. Carlin might be the most prolific comedian because he had a new hour almost every time you've seen him. So it's just, and he was so social, very political, but funny. The key is funny. I mean, if you're getting up there like Lenny Bruce was funny. But then he got too, uh, into what he was dealing with the First Amendment, the Fourth, and stuff. He got sidetracked into his fight, his struggle, what he was dealing with against the system. But Lenny was very very funny as well. George Carlin was up there with Richard Pryor. Then you had what's his name? That Bill Maher try to kind of fashion himself after Carlin. You got politicals doing his show on the HBO thing now, but I don't know. He was funny. He's okay, but he kind of sold out to some extent a little bit. You have Bill Maher. No, not Bill. I'm sorry, Bill Barr, who's a funny guy. I think he's out of Boston, and he talks about some real stuff, some good stuff. And Carlin made you think. He gave you food for thought. And Robin Williams, Tim Yoki says he did. And those guys, but you don't get that uh, too much anymore. Because nobody really wants to think, which is sad. And if the comedy, if it's not laid out for you, a lot of guys have to dumb their stuff down. You got to slow it down and then dumb it down and, kind of change your whole, revamp your whole style, your whole act. Sometimes you go up and then, you go out and you see the audience and it might be something like, man, damn, you're thinking you're going to have to really work tonight, got to struggle or whatever. I'm older now. So, I said, oh, my stuff is a little dated, so I go out, I see a younger audience. So I know some of the stuff I can't do. Or if I do it, I have to really revamp it and then to make it work for this particular crowd. Smartphones are making this dumb, Tim Yoki says. Uh, yeah, it's the whole environment of what they have out here now. They got rooms, comedy rooms, what they call alternative rooms. What is that? Alternative rooms? So that means if you're not really funny, they'll, we'll find something for you, where you'll fit right in. That type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a lot of stuff is really watered down. You go in some rooms, they don't want you to say this, they don't want you to say that. I got into a problem, man. I was doing a virtual show, and they wanted me to be clean. They've asked me, I've ever worked clean. I have worked clean. It's tricky when you're working clean. Uh, in a concert in the show, I opened up for Sinbad. Me to work clean. The agent told me to swear on my mother's eyes. I hand everything. swear on your mother's eyes, George, before I got the gig, that I won't curse, I won't say any swear. And I did. Ma, I'm sorry. No, but, it's just a hell of a thing that you had to do. Dionne Warwick, they wanted me to work clean. Uh, Jerry Butler they wanted me to work clean there. With Frank Gorshin, the Riddler for Batman, they wanted me to work clean. And so, and you're thinking you got to do between 20 to 30 minutes if you're an opening act for these major stars. Uh, and they no cursing, no anything, and just go straight and be funny at the same time. You don't work. I had a tough time. You know, I didn't get any laughs for the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes of that set. Then when we do a half hour of squeaky clean material, as they said. Take care, Tim. God bless you, brother. Tim says he's got to leave now. Have a great evening yourself. And yeah, but they want you to do a half an hour of clean stuff, of squeaky clean. And like I said, I was bombing the first 15 minutes, struggling, and started getting laughs. And then I had a problem with the promoters when I came down. And it was just one of those deals. Sinbad was great because he was a comedian. And the comedy, I worked for him three times, one 2,700 seats in New Haven, Connecticut, a place called Palace Theater. And I happened to be working around the corner at a spot called Joker's Wow, 500 Crown Street in New Haven. And I did that gig, and they liked the show. They loved it. And the crowd was beautiful. It was just, you do your stuff, lay it out, bam, bam, bam. Then I worked the next night, a spot called the Paramount Theater in Springfield, Mass. Third show was a spot called Big Birch. It was like a 4,000 seat uh, ski resort type situation. We were outside, we were outdoors, and the seats were up, coming down, and clean, squeaky clean. But that was so smooth, so beautiful, where just laying your material out, and it worked. And I had more success open up for comedians than I did for uh, singing and dance for dancers. Well, Dionne Warwick was, as I said, that was hell. Jerry Butler, it was a good gig, it was a decent gig. Uh, John Lucian and Rochelle Perot and those people, difficult, difficult. But I did my thing. I did what I had to do. But yeah, so like tonight, like I said, I'm not going to um, go into anything. The interview, I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna do some like pictures and some graphics and uh, you know, uh, and to do it and present it right. But yeah, it's the holiday season and people are caught up into you know this and that, as you know. And want to thank you for tuning in and have a good night. Stay safe during this crazy time. Basically, after we get through Christmas and the New Year's, I think we're home free. As far as like until everything else rolls around, then you got February 14th, Valentine's Day and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to do that, to interview, and but you know what? Like Craig pointed out, timing is everything. And yeah, I'm not gonna prolong anymore uh, this whole situation. George Carlin makes a made you think, and that's it. Yeah, so I'm not gonna go any further into this spiel right now. But thank you. Have a great night. Have a blessed night. Uh, keep your loved ones close to you. Tell your people, friends, loved ones that you love them. Call them. Let them know. You can't be in the wrong if you're doing the right thing. And persistence overcomes resistance all the time. Have a great holiday. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, a good holiday season. You family and friends. I was at my sister's house and I had a beautiful time. She cooked. She did an incredible job. She really did of cooking and then being the host. And I don't get out much, and she treated me special. She really did. I had an incredible time, and the feelings was beautiful. So tell them you love them, right? I love you guys. God bless. Good night. Alexa, resume music.